welcome to the Speeding Bulletin. My name is Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com. This is all the Superman related news there was for the week September 25th to October 1st, 2009. Superman Batman Public Enemies became available this past week. Warner Brothers released a number of new preview video clips and images from the animated movie. Superman homepage writer Jeffrey Taylor submitted a mostly spoiler-free review of the movie, so come to the site now to check it out. Speaking of which, Warner Brothers sent out an interview with Tim Daly in which he discusses reprising the role of Superman. He said, "Superman is a real Boy Scout, a real straight arrow, and yet he does have certain moments of a kind of ironic humour. The challenge is not to tip him into cynicism because he's not a cynical guy." MTV.com posted a sneak peek preview video of the next DC Universe animated movie, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, while comicbookresources.com caught up with director Sam Liu, who said the movie takes reference from the JLA Earth 2 book, but is also part of something else. Peter McDermott has updated our Smallville episode guide with his summary of the Season 9 premiere, Saviour, while Neal Bailey and Douglas Trumbull have written their reviews for this same episode, with Neal giving it a 1 out of 5, while Doug liked it a lot more, giving it a 4.5 out of 5. TV Guide's website has 9 questions for Smallville's Season 9 with spoiler answers, while Fancast.com has an interview with Cassidy Freeman where she talks about Tess Mercer in Season 9. The second episode of Season 9 of Smallville is scheduled to air in the US at 8 PM on Friday, October 2nd on the CW. Titled Metallo, John Corbin, after being struck by a truck, wakes up alone in an abandoned apartment as a man-machine with a kryptonite heart. Look for our episode summary and reviews in the next few days. The CW released the official description for the 4th episode of Season 9 of Smallville. Titled Echo, this episode is scheduled to air in the US at 8 PM on Friday, October 16th, and sees the Toyman return and take Oliver hostage. Unfortunately, it looks like the move to Friday nights has hurt Smallville when it comes to ratings. Ain't It Cool News reports that the ratings for the Season 9 premiere of Smallville were down 45% on previous season premieres, taking last place amongst its competitors for the night. Readers of Smallville magazine have voted Lex Luthor the show's all-time top villain. The destructive Kryptonian creature Doomsday and his alter ego Davis Bloom came in second, while Brainiac received the third highest amount of votes. The new villains-themed issue of Smallville magazine is released on September 29th in the US and October 8th in the UK. Superman homepage reviewer James Lance continues reviewing episodes of the 1950s Adventures of Superman TV series. Check out his review of The Deserted Village, in which townspeople are being scared away by a sea monster to allow access to the valuable hydrazite element deposits. The Superman homepage Ask Matt fan forum has been updated for another month. Come by the site now to check out what Matt Idelson, DC Comics editor, had to say in answer to questions put to him by fellow Superman comic book fans. Comicbookresources.com posted an interview with writer James Robinson to talk to him about Justice League of America and just which characters will make up his new superhero team. He said that elements of cry for justice plot points fall right into Justice League of America. Robinson's first issue, Justice League of America number 38, is scheduled to go on sale on October 21st. One of the writers of DC's Justice League of America 80-page giant number 1, on sale now, is Chuck Kim, who sat down with comicbookresources.com to talk about the book and what fans can expect. Chuck said, "What I can tell you is that most of the characters are on the cover." The 21st episode of the From Crisis to Crisis podcast is now online. This week, Michael interrupts Jeffrey a lot as they discuss the Superman books that came out during the cover date of April 1988. Comic books we reviewed this past week included Superman Secret Origin number 1, which was reviewed by Neal, Adam and James, with Neal and James giving it a 5 out of 5, while Adam rated it a 3 out of 5. Jeffrey Bridges reviewed Supergirl number 45, giving it a 4 out of 5, saying, "I see many 5 out of 5s in its future." Blackest Night Superman number 2 was reviewed by Neal Bailey, who said, "I dig the idea here, but the first issue was a better execution," and he gave it a 2 out of 5. Michael Bailey reviewed Superman Batman number 64, giving it a 3 out of 5, saying, "All in all, a nice little issue and a solid read." Michael also reviewed Justice League of America number 37, saying, "It was a satisfying conclusion to the story as a whole," and he gave it a 3 out of 5 as well. Wednesday Comics number 12, the final issue of this series, was reviewed by Barry Fryman, who gave the Superman strip an overall rating of 1 out of 5. And Adam DeChannel reviewed Super Friends number 19, giving it a 4 out of 5, saying, A nice read and very clearly set out for the younger reader. Superman comics shipping this week from September 30th include Justice League of America 80-page giant #1, Superman 692, Superman Kryptonite trade paperback, Superman Batman Volume 1 Public Enemies trade paperback new printing, and Heroes of the DC Universe Superman Bust. Back in August, Judge Stephen Larson ordered the Seagulls and DC Comics to engage in good faith efforts to settle their dispute over the rights to Superman by September 18th. The parties exchanged written settlement proposals prior to that mediation and continued their settlement discussions in the week following the mediation, but were unable to settle the cases. Another hearing date is scheduled for October 19th. Episode 57 of Radio KAL, the monthly podcast of the Superman homepage, is now available to listen to. Neal and I discuss Superman's Secret Origin, Wednesday Comics, Hunt for Reactron, Adventure Comics, Smallville Season 9 premiere, Public Enemies, DC Entertainment and more. Be sure to also check out Last Son of Krypton Chapter 57 and Lost Daughter of Krypton Chapter 29 audio dramas from pendantaudio.com. Ben Tippett has written a fascinating report on trying to find scientific basis for Superman's powers. You can download the PDF file from quants.com, that's QWANTZ.com. Lastly, the Superman homepage Super Trivia Quiz has been updated for another month. The three questions we're asking you are: on what date in 1952 was Christopher Reeve born? On what date in 1959 did George Reeves die? And according to the famous radio and TV introduction, Superman is said to have powers and abilities far beyond what? That's all the Superman news there was for the week September 25th to October 1st. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.
Hello, welcome to Bailey Planet. Last week I spoke about how it's a good thing that we aren't violent, because otherwise we'd be burning down Warner Brothers and DC and be like, where the hell is the Superman movie? But then you got the other side of the coin. Smallville is probably premiered by now, by the time you're watching this, and we're seeing the stills now of Clark Kent in a black suit, and from all indications it's a voluntary thing. It's something he's doing to cope with the way that he feels disassociated with his human heritage. And it makes me realize that there are some times when a Superman interpretation can just go totally off the rails. If they are indeed arbitrarily putting Clark Kent in a black suit and making him go all emo kid when he's pretty much the ultimate hope-based character, it's gonna suck. It's just gonna suck. Even when they did it in the comic books, it wasn't his choice. It was kind of like, oh, this is just the suit Kelex put me in, you know? You just don't give Superman guns and say, hey man, I'm the Punisher, because he's not the Punisher, he's Superman. And if you put him in a black suit with a silver S, I don't know. They could justify it by saying it's Jor-El's training. And note that they're bringing Jor-El into the show, even though Jor-El has already been shown as Clark or Tom Welling. It's just, yeah. Watch this. Just took off my glasses. I took off my glasses.
Bailey Planet is sponsored by Gibbo.